Good afternoon. It is afternoon everywhere. And so good afternoon. Um, Welcome to another episode of broadcast of Thriving Tuesday Moments of Encouragement. Hashtag veeencouraged. Please let me know you're here. I see that there are a few folks populating. If you'll just say, hey, let me know that you're in the room so that I can say hello to you. Today, we're going to talk about something that might get misconstrued, so I want to make sure that I say it clearly the way that I'm trying to say it. Hey, my sister, good to see you here, Lady Clarice. And we want to talk today about what it means to embrace life's fluidity. Hey, Sunshine. To embrace life's fluidity. Now, there's a lot of conversation in the world about fluidity, and I'm not talking about gender fluidity today. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear. A lot of times we use terms that are in the culture, and people may get that misconstrued. We're not talking about gender and cultural fluidity. Today, we're talking about life fluidity. It's good to see you, Miss Benson and Sister Mayetta and Reverend Patricia Fuller. It's good to have you. Hey, Deljon, how are you? So we want to talk about what it means to live a life where you are trusting God enough that when the fluidity comes, that you can embrace it instead of fight it. This is that season in our church, and in every church that is itinerant and in Methodism has a season where fluidity comes, where you don't exactly know how things are going to land. You know what's been, but you don't know where things are going. You know what has happened, but you don't know what's going to happen. And that can be a time of great anxiousness and anxiety. But I'm coming to encourage you today that when you trust God, that life's fluidity can be something that you embrace because you trust the one who has your life in his hands. When we trust that God has our life in God's hands, then when the fluidity comes, while it may throw us, while it may make us have some anxious moments, we don't live in anxiety because we know that we have a keeper. We know that God is our keeper. We know that God is Jehovah Jireh. We know that God is going to meet every need. We know that God is Jehovah Nissi. God's going to go before us and fight every battle. We know that God's Jehovah Rapha, that God is going to deal with the healing that we need in mind, body, and spirit. We know that God is Jehovah Shalom, that will give us peace even in the midst of stormy situations. So while life may be fluid, we know that our faith can stand strong and that we can embrace the fluidity of what life brings us because we are standing on the promises, not of man, not of folk, but we're standing on the promises of God. If you don't get anything else out of today, get that we can handle the fluidity of life because we are trusting in a God who cannot fail. We are trusting in a God who has given us some promises. So we stand on those promises and we keep it moving. We keep it moving. Jonathan Reynolds has a song that says, I'm moving on. And when I first heard it, I was like, I don't know if I kind of like that, Jonathan. But I recognized as I kept listening to it, that's a place of security. We sing Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine, and we sing all of those songs about being, sure, blessed quietness, holy quietness, what assurance in my soul. Well, if we're really assured in our souls, then when God says it's moving time, we don't get stressed about where God is taking us or what God is doing. Now, it might be some stress in the process of getting there. But we've got to learn how to embrace the fluidity of life and living and where we serve and what we do. There are those who are excited about the fluidity that has come to their life during this season in our churches. And there are others who are struggling and stressed about the fluidity. But I came to just say to you that while life changes and things change, we serve a God that changes not. His compassions never fail, and God is new. Our mercies are fluid because they're new every morning. So, my word of encouragement to you today is embrace fluidity, for in it is the opportunities for the providence that God has for your life. It may not feel good. It may not sit well with you on the front end, but the truth of the matter is that when you decide that you're going to trust God implicitly and that nothing that comes your way is going to change that trust, then no matter how fluid life gets, you may want to complain. You might not like it. You may say, I don't know what God is doing. And I wish God would tell me why God is doing whatever. But here, understand this. Our trust in God is greater than the change. That if our trust in God is greater than the change, no matter how fluid it is, we know whose hand we're holding on to. That's why that hymn says time is filled with what? Swift transition. None on earth unmoved can stand, but we've got to build our hopes on things eternal and hold on to the one who's carrying us through. And so I pray that you will be blessed. And those of you who are in this season, who may have already finished your conferences, those who are still having conferences to come, those people who are part of churches where change is coming, you hold on to God. You trust God. God is not doing anything that's going to hurt you if you receive it as God is giving it. So as God is leading and guiding, receive the fluidity of what God does in our lives and know that our trust in God is stronger than the tide, stronger than any changes, stronger than the fluidity of life. So we embrace the fluidity because we trust that wherever God is leading, that God is leading in ways that we cannot comprehend. For God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all we can ask or think, according to the power that worketh within us. So grasp hold to the power that worketh within you, which is the power of God through the Holy Spirit, and hold on to your faith and ride the tide of the fluid, knowing that God is keeping you and God will keep you in all circumstances. Listen, embrace fluidity, not what the culture says, but what it means to ride through with God. You're riding maybe through some storms, but if you hold on to God, there's nowhere that you're going that God will not keep you. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Embrace life fluidity while you trust the one who's orchestrating your life. And be encouraged. I'll see you soon. That's right, Miss Benson. Be bold. Face now. Embrace next. See new. And those of you who don't know what that is, holla at a CMB church soon. You'll know what it is. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. See you soon. Be encouraged.